versus Prostor. Only one team turned up for Dust 2. Hopefully 2 teams turn up for Nuke. It's going to be the second map of this best of 3 series. Team Spirit won their pick, which was Dust 2. So Prostor, the pick of Nuke, do they have a trick up their sleeve? Do they have sleeve of Wizard like Frankie, our host, in the previous days? We will find out in just a few short moments. Waiting for the knife to happen to find out who starts on the CT side, and I think this is probably the most important knife round in the game, because some of the nukes that we saw so far this tournament, it was all about the knife round. The CT sides were completely dominant, and it was a lopsided affair. So, I mean, imagine it. What if Team Spirit win the knife? Are they? How? I mean, we can't really tell what we're going to expect between these two sides, but I wouldn't be surprised if the people who start on the CT side win the match.
Yeah, I think that's a decent assessment, as much of an assessment as one can make. I think on this map as well, especially, it's the set pieces and a lot more intricate as far as like nade placement goes and routine and so on. So, and I feel like it's usually where teams are less likely to prepare. And given what we've seen out of Team Spirit so far, they've got some good T sides on most maps. But like Nuke to me is always like a test. I don't know. Actually, not sure which team chose this map. I'm sure that'll be in my ear in a moment.
Prostor.
Prostor. Okay. Well, then I imagine that if Team Spirit left it in, they must be at least comfortable with the basics of it. So we should have the outside smoke. We should have all the basics. So then, what it really comes down to is the mid rounding. That's so often what Nuke is about. You get a couple opening picks. There's more space on the map. Try to abuse CT rotation. Then it's about which team is better at hitting the shots. And Coldy's been doing pretty well as far as that's concerned. So Team Spirit actually have Coldy there. Sorry?
Team Spirit won the knife round.
Oh, so well.
That's GG, man. It's 2-0.
That's GG. Well, that would be 2-0 for the major. So it's no small thing. No small thing at all. So Coldy, we definitely saw him doing well. Davkos was, of course, on the AWP for Team Spirit. I'm curious as to the style of defense we'll see from them when they get money for the AWP. We've seen that it can be quite difficult to understand how to position and how to rotate. And also, you need to have a rifler that's able to support you as the AWPer, and you can create a lot of bait setups. And there's all sorts that you can do, of course, on the CT side. So I'm curious as to what it will look like for Team Spirit and what Prostor will look like. This is, I think, the perfect start for us, James, because Prostor is their map. They should have some great tactics for this.
Perfect start for us, maybe, but is it the perfect start for Prostor? On the T side, charging straight into the A site, but some die young is leaving very short sentences. Plays moving into the B bomb site now, but Sviat won't make it there. The bomb being planted at the very least. 2 versus 4. This can still turn around very quickly. Def moving away from the bomb plants.
Ooh, I thought Ivan had that one, but I think he got tagged just before he could pull the trigger. And one player left there. Oh, he's done some good damage, but only so much you can do against 4 players when you're trapped in a corner. And we're going to see the money go to Team Spirit at the beginning of the match. And that's really crucial due to, I mean, CT side on Nuke is just so painful when you don't have the economy. I mean, a lot of maps are, but some are worse than others. And Nuke is certainly annoying because it's one of those maps where you expect to get a lot of CT rounds at the same time, so to have that slow start can really hurt you in the scope of the entire match.
No force buy from Prostor. They planted the bomb. They will purchase some deagles, 2 deagles in fact, and a P250. No flashbangs, so I think these 2 deagles will try to find some heads to pop for a time. Check out this angle from Davkos. There was even a pre-5 at that position. Falls off the barrier there. Otherwise, I wonder if he gets that headshot. Now, how many times will he go back to the well? Grenade sailing in up top, but doing no damage. Now we've got Sotfik at the close range. Patient bursts. Wants to make sure. Well, I mean, there's no need to spray beyond that at that range, but also wants to make sure he has enough bullets. If anything. If the numbers were to come close. Now, we're not having... Well... this is a very laboured duel.
Yeah.
Versus players with no Kevlar.
Yeah, and of course, I think Def himself on the top there. Oh no, it's actually Ivan. He's only got a Glock, so it's not too much of a threat, but... You have to be pretty cautious with those engagements sometimes, because you actually don't necessarily... Like, if the other opponents... If your opponents do not have Kevlar, then playing headshot angles is actually like really good for the guys that don't have Kevlar. So you're going to be careful about the nature of that engagement. And as soon as their body's exposed, they're going to get absolutely wrecked by you. So
absolutely wrecked.
So that's something you can think about when you're taking positions. Like, do my opponents have Kevlar? Should I play headshot angle? If they don't, well, you're going to have a better fight if their body's exposed.
This is a very big round for Prostot. They must win. If they lose this round, they also give up the AKs. Now, can FACEIT get out of this position? The bullets combined with the HE grenade are good for 1 kill. Is there a flash for him? There is a flash for him, but the spray is there for Ivan. He's got stronger bullets, and FACEIT's chest will absorb. That's unfortunate for Spirit. The idea was great, but Prostot, they had the line. They knew where to spray. That was a nice shot. Ooh. Right then.
From down cost?
Man advantage. I'm not sure if he hit the mark, actually.
He didn't.
He didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
It wasn't a nice shot.
it's like he didn't hit anything.
It would have been if he hit something.
And interestingly, you know, Ivan, who was the guy who was like completely blind, able to kill the MP9 by the T-Red, is now going on to kill everyone. Ooh! Kenzo down to 15, and he will team kill Ivan, who was very weak. Could be an opportunity for Coldy. We know he's good. These rifles is going to press on forwards with the attack. He's looking for the trade fragger behind. That's very smart, but smart for Prosto not to peek him, actually. Siat's... Oh my god, there's no way. Oh wow, that would have been amazing.
He's so smart. I mean, you can see it when he's looking for the trade fragger after getting the first kill, how he positions himself on the way to that first kill, and he knows that he has to come off the bomb because he's in a 1 versus 2, which is why he doesn't, because that's probably his best chance, or one of his best chances at winning the round. Awesome stuff. He's the man. I told you he's the man. Dav Cost with the AWP now. He's been very dangerous with this. Sam Young with the auto shotgun. If Team Spirit had won that round, it would have been huge for them because they would have taken AKs into the next round and so on and so forth. That's a frag towards the hut position. Sam Young charging in immediately and shooting a player in the face. Once again, FACEIT harassing the players going towards the secret position. And he continues to do so. Not sure if he spotted the head, but he need engage no more. 5 versus 3. Great response from Team Spirit.
Yeah, this is one of those tough spots where your opponents know exactly where you are, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So the thing that you have is you've got some good firepower with the AKs. You've got time on the clock, so you can go back, but it's always risky because if the CT's left someone out there watching the double back, because oftentimes the CTs will have someone posted up. Just they've got 5 players, you know, why wouldn't they be watching the exit from secret? They're going to keep that information, but not actually the case. Team Spirit just completely abandoned the outside spotter. So right now, Team Spirit might still be expecting the play to come in on the lower bomb site. Davkos is only just now starting to investigate outside. Very timely as well. Takes down Kenzel, but what does that tell his team? They should surely realize that more players can be up here now.
Coldy had the angle. He's found the one hole in the defenses. Coldy's on the site looking towards the heaven position. That's the only way Prostor could have got a free frag, really. 15 seconds left, and are they going to go for a bomb attempt? They are, it seems. At least the bomb's made its way down, but Flarich needs to as well. 8 seconds, looking for info. He's cost them the AWP Team Spirit, so it will be an expensive round for them, but for this round, they may pick up some SMGs, expectant of an eco or a force buy from Pro100 from Prostor.
Yeah, it's a perfect round to win, isn't it? Right after that T victory. This is scary. Again, Team Spirit won the first map convincingly. This is a qualification best of 3 winning team to the FACEIT London Major 2018. Sotfig might have some interesting times here. It's a good position over the box. His teammate will be just checking. Unable to get any frags so far. Davkos, though, does make good of it on the second go. Bomb is at his feet, too, so that is the round. No way to recover that bomb. Flarich, he can get some damage in, though. He has Kevlar, and he has a P250. Oh, that was perfect timing, completely flashed.
You must be thinking, surely they don't know where I am. Surely. Surely it was a coincidence.
I think he heard the reload, right? In huts. Now this is cool just because he's just using the time here. Looking for someone to get sloppy, looking to see if someone overextends, or maybe he can just catch somebody off guard for a moment, looking away. So I like that he tried to get as much out of that round as he could. And that will be a pretty clean round for Team Spirits. They're going to be in a really good place now. The AWP not yet out. They are perhaps going to wait until their money's really good, or until the T's buy an AWP and then they can steal it away. That's a good approach, because it's the most economic approach, most economically friendly approach, that is. And you can get very far on this map without the AWP as well. Hello. Def
Nice.
taking a stroll outside.
Ooh, transferring lots of data to these players, but they can't handle it with their floppy disks. Larich on the ramp position. Sotfik sees it coming, sees the leg, knows he's still there, and splats him. He got swatted like a fly, man. He took the full square in the face. Pow! Like a in the face.
Pow.
There we go.
So, like you're talking about floppy disks, I remember playing games with 15 floppy disks.
I knew you were going to know that on floppy disks afterwards.
Yeah.
Absolute geek.
The worst is like when one of the 15 disks corrupts and it's like in the middle or something. And it's like, oh god, what
I remember
do I do
having
here?
to span
That's
zip
GG.
files across different floppy drives. That was annoying. And then one would be like, yeah, like, I'm just going to crap out on you. Hope your information wasn't valuable. But really, I hope it was. 5 AKs for Prostor. Plenty of flashbangs. 2 smokes now following the use of these ones. Now, we've seen multiple aggressive plays where Team Spirit have been very close to those smoke grenades. And Prostor might be looking for that now, pushing through them. Have Team Spirit detected this? If so, Davkos could be in trouble. Ooh, he sees 3 players. Does he stand his ground, though? Ooh, that's a beautiful shot. They've got to stand and fight.
4v3, bomb outside. Looks very good for Team Spirit in this 5 vs 5. Sotfik just jumping out there. He cares not. Someday Young cares not as well. This is not a good start for Prosto. I mean, this is the thing, though. We've seen a lot of maps today where it really looks like one team is very, very dominant. The other team can't find even a little bit of success. Not even like, not even a way in. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of that particular half, just like 5 rounds in a row from that team that struggled so much. So I'm hesitant to really say too much about the prospects of Prosto here. But Team Spirit do seem to have found a groove here. And it is easier to consistently find that groove on this map, because the positions are pretty consistent. And the rotations are very easy. And you can play a style that is really easy, where you just sort of just follow the T's movement. Maybe you'll give up ramp, but then you adjust your rotations. Maybe you give up secret, you adjust your rotations. Like, depending on what happens, it's just very easy to adjust rotations very quickly. So
Indeed, the counter-terrorists do win. And,
oh!
Ooh! You gotta love those ones.
That's great. Look, the 3 bullets went around him. That's so crazy.
That is a wake-up call in case you were half asleep. Boy. Well, so my theory of the game being won by the knife round is so far proving to be true. We'll see if it continues in that fashion.
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. All right. The smoke might help Prostor get through the hut position, but it will be blind going in. Oh boy.
That was not looking too happy.
They got drilled.
For Prosto. They had, I think,
They got
like
hammer fists.
one flash when they were running in, more or less, at that point. So not too much in the way of utility. Team Spirits, they're getting stronger. They're powering up. They are absorbing the spirits of their opponents as they defeat them.
They're harvesting the organs.
Maybe. So 7-1, and there seems to be no change. There is no change to the condition here for Prosto, and I'm afraid it's terminal. We'll see. if they're able to find a way to get back in here, a consistent approach. They found their way down to control room, which is very nice. And the adjustments from Team Spirit haven't come just yet. This might work out. You can see Sotfix looking. He knows there's someone in control room. This is very confusing now. Siat, there's a bunch of different ways Siat can be very annoying. But Davkos spots the bulk of the push outside. And the bomb is down outside too.
Yeah, speaking of annoying, Davkos is 12-2 at the moment. Once again, having a fantastic half of Counter-Strike. Did Sotfix see him cross? He didn't.
Is there a CT on the bomb? Is Coldy on the bomb?
Sotfix didn't see Def cross. He'll get picked off in the ramp position, but that's only the first kill here for Plostar. And Davkos is expectant, but Flarich will get the kill. And I think the CTs have a good idea of where the last two players are. Now it's 2-on-2. Coldy's in the vents, and Sumdai Young is in the site, looking towards heaven. The bomb has to be retrieved. It is some distance away. Ooh, maybe Def hears Cold running around in the vents. But 25 seconds now, and I think Def might have to run and concede his position as well. Sumdai Young inside the A site, and there's a player coming up the heaven position, but where is the bomb going to go? Flarich in heaven, Def in the heart, and there is the head. Hello. They should see each other on the radar, and that should be the round. Flarich has to drop off to even have the attention. He's got nowhere to hide anymore, and Sumdai Young will peek him anyway. 8-1, no plant for Plostar.
That's like one of those strange rounds where at the beginning of the round, one of the Ts makes it to control room, and then they start pushing outside, like they're really going for it. But the bomb is basically, it's like on the I think it was on one of the dumpsters next to the T roof towards T spawn. So that must have been a miscommunication, because when you commit to that extent, not having the bomb can only be a miscommunication. So for them having to go back to get the bomb, that created a spot where instead of having a really winnable round, it's like a very tough one to have a chance at. So that's a shame for Prosto, because I had a lot of potential that round.
This is tough, like a $5 steak.
Oh man, yeah, that's really rough. Because also the other thing with the control room take is that you can see there was a rotation from Sotfig from Ramp, so Ramp was then open, and they could sandwich him. He was in a bad spot, so yeah, it's a shame they couldn't get more out of that round. This is starting to get a bit scary. Already Team Spirit have 8 rounds. Half of the rounds they need to win to qualify for the major.
Look, man, they won the knife rounds. That's all you need to know.
That's all we need to know.
Seems Plostar will wait out these smoke grenades around the A site and then try to burst, since the previous one failed. They have 2 flashes, they have 1 smoke grenade. But Spirit are expectant. They hear the flash bounce once and they'll completely avoid it. And the second one. The spray transfer all over the shop. They see Def, they know he's in the lobby area. And they will wait for him, or will they? Coldy, he just loves fragging people. Crouch, peek, boom. Second kill for him. 9-1 for Team Spirit. They are on the back of a rocket. What are those banana things that are pulled along in the water that kids hold on to and then ninja themselves on?
Wait, sorry, what?
Never mind. Speaking of injuries, Captain Mo has been confirmed to be coming back to Tyloo. He's still wheelchair bound, however, because of his basically has a fracture in his neck. Wishing him a speedy recovery, but it'll be nice to have him back. We'll try to make his journey, well, his visit to London as comfortable as possible.
Oh, that's so big. What a play from... And they keep doing this. The amount of times they've got value out of just the T's getting wrecked running past is like kind of unbelievable. Like, how many rounds have teams... I think I would say more than 5 or 6 rounds Team Spirit have managed to get damage or kills around the T smokes outside, which goes unpunished.
All too many.
Too many.
And now Plostar will wait for Team Spirit to take a step in the wrong direction and give Ivan a kill. Now, can we identify... Look at the double peek from Sotfik and Coldy on the secret position. Someone's heard the beep. There is the frag they were waiting for at the same time. The bomb will encourage it. 2 versus 3. This is doable now. Flarich has a strong position as well. Ivan rotating elsewhere, but Flarich has got to get something done here. Peeking as Sumdai Young throws the flashbang. And I have no idea where Ivan is, so that could really be a free flag for him. Blind, dead, never mind. Double figures for Spirit.
Double figures, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. That was one of the only sort of close rounds we've seen. Most rounds are fairly dominant from Team Spirit. I mean, you can see that reflected in their money. You can see it reflected in the fact that there's been, well, there's been 2 defuses. Like one at the very start, which is the pistol round. Otherwise, the only other defuse was just now. So that means that they've never planted the bomb before that last round. Well, and obviously the pistol, but the pistol doesn't count as much as we're talking sort of buy versus buy.
10 to 1.
That's rough, man.
10 to almost none.
Ooh, good flashes. Air out onto the site. Got to win the 1v1s now, but Seattle nowhere. Well, doesn't know where to look. Sunday Young is just having a field day up here on the hut roof. He's just chilling there, and doesn't really go contested most of the time.
This is the pick of Prostar. But again, I did think that the knife round would determine many of these rounds. Prostar need enough to survive a pistol, basically, and that is not the case right now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not.
That, of course, these 2 of the 3 players outside. He can only stay here for so long. Now, technically, he's seen all the players, but he only knows that he's seen 2. Look at this, man. This is unbelievable.
Oh, ooh. I thought he was going to miss that then.
Can the T's even identify that he's around main, though?
Oh, they heard him. He had some slight cover, but...
He could slide off the corner of the door.
Oh, did that go down the hole?
If he slid off the corner of the door, I think he could have maybe got away with not making a sound. There we go. Davkos can re-peek. I think he saw a bit of elbow. He hears the sound cue that somebody's on the floor. The CZ is out. Got to be careful though. Close quarters, but maybe the bomb could go down. Perhaps not though. 2 versus 1. The flashbangs continue. Ivan has 10 seconds to plant, and they'll take his choice away from him. And that was a bonus buy round for Prostar because they planted the bomb. But they've got the money to force it up. I mean, can they afford not to? I don't think they can. 11 to 1.
It's looking really good right now. It's not looking like Prosto have anything for their map choice right now.
Team Spirit have just been absorbing punches for the whole minor until the qualifying match. Now they're just letting rip while everyone else is gassed.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Sopfig, again, reliably getting money out of this position on the T-Red container. Let's see if he can get more. Oh man, how can you not check this? He's been bodying you every round here and still unchecked. Sopfig, he might have just won the round again for his team. Oh man, no one looked right, James. 90-degree turn.
Yeah, they are mentally defeated, I think it's fair to say.
It must be,
because I think they are a deer in headlights with the score and the fashion in which they're losing the rounds, because to not have the presence of mind to check that position.
Yeah.
And the CTs are playing with absolutely no fear. We've seen them all over the place. We've got a CT on the T roof.
Flourish 9 HP, and it does look like they're getting very badly beaten up at the moment.
I love that Spirits are doing this though. I love that they are taking unnecessary aggressions, because it's psychological warfare. And again, you can see that it's working by Prostar not checking that box that they have been annihilated from time and time and time and time and time again.
This is crazy.
Is this a surprise?
Oh my, it cannot be.
I didn't think he would be there.
I don't think I've ever seen it where like someone's been in that spot like so often and then still not gone and been checked.
He hasn't died from there once. That we've seen on the camera. He hasn't died from there one time.
Except maybe like the first or second round or something. But he still got like loads of damage each time, got all the information and everything like that. It was always like worth it. But that's because there was always also gaps in the smoke. For when Prosto smoked outside, there were always gaps.
We've seen many gaps in smokes in this minor.
Oop. Down cost. This is his shot. Sophic also loses or messes his shots, but Coldy, he's in there, man. Straight out of the lobby. Oh, no, you don't expect this, do you? Straight for the backstab. Coldy wants blood, and he's got a teammate out there for some as well. Coldy didn't have the bullets left. I think he's reloading to actually trade that kill, and actually this aggression has backfired. Maybe Prosto can get off the 1 and get onto the 2. But it remains to be seen. Dima's still, well, Dima's dead. So just Coldy with 10 HP. There's surely no way.
We haven't spoken too much about Davkost this match, but he has been, in all the matches I can remember, he has been really good for Team Spirit as well, and consistent. A long storied player in Counter-Strike. Finally, Prostar get a second round on the boards. All that aggression, though, has paid off for Team Spirit, so you won't be too sad about that one. Won't be too sad at all. Can they get a third round on the board? So desperately needed. With 3 rounds, if they win the pistol, I mean, Prostar could entirely have a similar CT half to Team Spirit, as bad as it looks now. If they win the pistol and don't get wrecked by a force buy, then this could entirely happen again. But for the other CT team, such is the nature of Nuke. And I feel like at this level, even more so than up at high levels.
I wonder how Hellraisers will interpret all of this as well. Obviously, Hellraisers wait to play the winner of this for the monies. Both teams will be qualified for Le Major in Londinium. First major in London. Hello, Davkost picking up another one outside, around the outside. And not much more information there for Davkost. He falls back, sees nothing else. He goes super defensive.
Kendall's in an interesting position, considering he has the bomb. Yeah. He's waiting for a CT to make a mistake. But if they don't, does he get caught on the move? Coldy moving into this angle, I suppose, just after Kenzor moves away.
They have ramp as well. They have had for ages with Def on 10 HP. But Dima's position is really good. It's a very strong spot, and there's players along the way too. Perhaps this is going to be close. They've got to just sprint out there soon. This could be very problematic because Dima can just wait for the planter, kill the planter, and then that's going to be the GG. He's going to peek though. Less than 15 seconds. Oh, he goes left, and that's where they come. Bomb down. 3v3. Close round.
Samdayang wonders what's in the vent. Pre-fire will do some damage. Good damage, but it's all about kills at this point. Proston need this so badly. 2 players behind the vents for the T side. Coldy taking his time. Davkost is the one with the defuse kit though. Some nice burst by Coldy. Davkost must get on the bomb, and there's a massive frag from him. Closes the door on his teammate, and Sviat does not have an angle. And now the door can be opened. Surely he hears it. And that will be round number 13. It all went wrong for Prostar from start to finish in that half. 2 rounds. They have to win the pistol.
How many did they get on Dust 2? Was it like 3?
I think it was 3.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, as you say, with the pistol, perhaps a great rejuvenation can be achieved. A great revolution can be aspired to be had.
1 round, 14 times. That's how they must look at it.
Yep.
1 round, 14 times. It's going to be a fast play into A. They want to finish this quickly. Kenzor with the seat, only good 1-for-1 frag, jumping past the angle, but Dev, oh, that's great from him. 3 frags, and again, this is so needed by Prostar. That's exactly the performance they were looking for. Not easy frags either for Def, different heights and so on. But there it is, that's the pistol. No plant for Team Spirit. That doesn't mean there'll be a force buy coming, but look at this, the jump. He manages to adjust for the jump. The second frag, the third frag, huge, shut it down.
But now they have to sort of wear away the confidence of Team Spirit, because Team Spirit will be very confident still after the first half. And so Prosto for themselves and to sort of beat down their opponents a bit. They need to win the next 5-6 rounds pretty clean, and that's not a good start there on the outside, and that's where the 5 Deagles are. The Deagles are going to be... The biggest problem with the Deagles will be outside for Frostos. They have to be very cautious how they handle this. Already losing one player there. Flarich has been spotted, and I'm sure called out as well by Team Spirit. They know he's there. Cody, I imagine, is looking for it, and he's a bit of a savage. Only a bit of a savage.
Bit of a savage.
Not 100% savage.
It's just a little bit.
Small portion of him.
A bit. Hello.
A chunk.
Flarich, I wonder if his legs can be spotted by Coldy.
Legs.
Okay, Coldy.
Ouch. That is
It's a
painful.
5 versus 3.
Yep, and only 2 of them have Kevlar, these Team Spirit players. The other 3 opted, they have money in the bank, they can buy Deagles again next round. And Prosto, it has to be, the panic mode is going to start, if it has not already, setting in soon, unless somebody can do something, and Def might be the player to do so. And that's Coldy dead outside. But the T's are making their way downstairs, and Demon's there to cut off rotation from the ladder, which is quite a favorable position with that Deagle. Oh no! And that's a gun for him as well, the FAMAS, and there's no way in from the vents. And Def will get shot in the back, and all of a sudden Flarich has to come in the vents, and he knows nothing is safe. Nothing is safe. It's like the hard decision now to just... It's not even a hard decision. Like, you've got to give this round up. But it's a hard reality to swallow. It's not going to go down very well. It's going to burn all the way down. One more kill for Flarich. Just walking around still. Trying to keep that FAMAS in play. It's going to be 14 rounds. I mean, you said they needed to have a defend against the force by James. It wasn't even a full force, and they have suffered greatly. Great losses.
It's a rough one. Fighting for the major, getting absolutely spanked. You've got handprints on your bum. Feel the contours of the Team Spirit fingers. And hope they go away sooner rather than later. Prostor at the mercy of their opponent, who are showing no mercy. They came to play. Coldy, one of the players who's been very important for Team Spirit throughout this minor. They'll take it slow, Team Spirit. Wait for any nonsense from Prostor. Any grenade spam, any pushes. Sviat alone over 5-7, sorry, a CZ. Surely he will have to fall off this position. Oh my, look at the damage he's done. That's more than 100 damage, like 125 damage on 3 players. He couldn't really ask for more. And now Ivan's in a position to take these players out. That one grenade could be a giant turning point in this round.
It's not too often you could say that as well. Not that early in the round, at least. And the slow creep making Prosto sweat into the angle. They go. Def has a perfect lineup. That's 1 down. 4 more to go. 3 more to go. And Team Spirit are committing here, and they absolutely cannot defend this.
Wow.
That was so telegraphed, and they all had position down on the lower bomb site. A much-needed round to completely cripple the economy of Team Spirit, who should force buy with an AK here. That would be pretty cool. Dima, he's not going to buy an AK. I want to see the AK, James. Considering what they did with just, like, a few Deagles. And he hasn't bought Kevlar either, actually, so... He's going to take a nade to the face.
To the face.
So leaving money in the bank.
What a way to be deleted. That's... When do you see that on Nuke?
Yeah.
With the whole team surviving. That is crazy. And again, I mean, yes, Team Spirit are 2 rounds away, but Prostor could stabilize here and just win a boatload of rounds if they have the nerve to do it, because that was very uninspired from Team Spirit.
Yeah, that
Early
is
cracks.
I think that's like the moment where, like you were saying before, like you have a team that's in the winning position, And they may, at this point, already be celebrating mentally, and you can't be doing that. You know, like as you say, that was very uninspired. There's a lot of different ways you can play that round, which are much better than just having a very telegraphed, slow, lower push.
Molotov containment, incendiary grenade for the CTs. That is $600 for them, $400 for the Ts.
Should be an easy one for Prosto. Shouldn't lose too much here. But not lose too much, I mean, at worst, one player. It's a good nades. That's a good one on the targets.
What is that term? Oh, there's an AOE term in MOBAs, right? Area of effect or something?
Mm-hmm. Area of effects. Yeah, splash means splash damage, basically. Splash damage attack. Area of effect.
Like, should be like an area of denial or something.
Area of what, sorry?
Denial.
Denial.
With the incendiaries, which would explain why it's more expensive for them, since they have the area to start with, for the most part. Well then, there's round number 6 for Prostar. But that bomb plant is significant. Look at the cash injection on Team Spirit.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the way that Team Spirit handled that botched anti-force buy, because like going lower is really risky because of all the like corners. If you manage to get somehow control of control room already, then it's okay. But usually you'll see most teams play outside and just get high positions. But now they're buy against buy, and there's not really going to be too much worry about pistols now. It's going to have to win it against the rifles. They're going to win it. It's one more lifeline really for Prosto, then they're playing for overtime, so there is at least that going for them. And as James said, you know, on the CT side, you can really hit a groove, and it can be difficult to find ways to break a defense on that T side sometimes.
Team Spirit were so dynamic on their CT side, so abusive. Can they avoid that on their T side? Can they? I mean, they seem to have deep knowledge of, or deep enough knowledge of Nuke that I would expect a better T side from them, but easier said than done. 48 seconds, and will it be a raw push into a site? Plenty of footsteps heard on main. Frostlord just waiting, but losing the duel. Could it be the AKs that make the difference in the hands of players such as Coldy? It just might be.
Ooh, Dav course denying Prosto back into the bomb site for the retake. FACEIT is going in. Oh, that's a good shot. 18 seconds. Bomb has to be recollected. It will be. Saltfig is going to be safe to plant there now that that panel's been added. But can he win the 1v1? No!
Damn.
The headshot goes straight in the way of Saltfig. Nails it. And that was a very decisive moment. Because now it's match point. A major qualification points.
What a way to potentially qualify. With a shutout. Last chance saloon for Prostar. Last orders at the bar. Bell is being rung, and the Molotov looks like missed the mark there. I don't.
Yep.
Can't imagine it was supposed to hit that door. Nervousness, perhaps.
Deep breath. They're going to go for the upper burst. Def knows it's coming. Goes for the peak, gets nothing. That's a problem. Kenzo on the side gets wrapped, and they are all melting away on the upper bomb side. Team Spirit in a 4v2 in the match point scenario here. Major qualification point. FACEIT against 4, and he's in a horrible duel. He'll lose it 16-6. That means 32 rounds just went to Team Spirit and only 9 for Prosto in this qualification match.
Team Spirit have made it to the major in London. We will see you in September, chaps. And again, that was, I mean, they left no doubts at all. Davkos with a number of fantastic rounds, and you just feel like Prosto, they just, their heads were not in that. They got absolutely dominated. Even in that last round, Def's on the roof, and there's a T who throws a smoke to smoke off main, and he kind of looks at the smoke, while they're coming in. I just feel like
the whole team
the focus wasn't there. They went missing.
It happens in these kinds of matches, and I mean, this is something we saw even afflicted the likes of NRG, a team that many would look up to in the position of these teams, but it affects everyone. And that's when people talk about having experience in tournament experience, a lot of it is about the mental game.
Yeah.
Because any team can practice against any team, and it's going to come down to how you can keep that focus and how you can handle the pressure. It's all mental.
Absolutely. Talk about pressure. Absolutely no doubt about where that one was going.
Yeah.
Plenty of other matches that we've seen today, and in this minor either had surprising results or teams didn't play to the performance level that we expected. Vanguard, for example, they just smashed, man. It just came in like the police.
And next up is going to be, they're going to play Hellraisers, and Hellraisers are really happy after yesterday's result, and that may make them very dangerous because they're very skilled individually. And Team Spirit, they're going to be happy playing against Hellraisers. They're playing for the money. Of course, money is really important, and it's going to go a long way. But again, it's going to make for an interesting matchup because we won't have as much of that pressure element, like beating down these players psychologically, so they're going to feel freer, I think.
Freya down with the winners of that match.
Thank you, James. I am back with Sam Young. So how are you feeling? You've qualified for the major in London.
It's feeling great. It was like one of my dreams, one of my steps. It's super good. I don't know.
You must be feeling amazing. So I just want to briefly go back to Dust 2. It seemed like from round 7 onwards, you guys just snowballed. What gave you that confidence?
We was motivated super hard because they destroyed us yesterday. So tomorrow we need to show how great we are, and we show it.
Do you feel like coming off that win against a Vanguard, you were in your zone, you were just ready to go?
Yeah, game from Vanguard just make up more confident.
Yeah, definitely. So you said briefly in our last interview that you were focusing on team communication and just communication in general, which definitely paid off. What are you feeling going into your final, well, you qualified, but going into the final matchup against Hellraisers?
We're going to stay in same tune, so I think it's going to help us again.
We saw yourself and Davkos having incredible games. Is he the sort of guy that plays off the team, or is he quite big on individual skill?
It's whole like team play. Even if he going hard skilled by himself, it's all team play.
Cool. So, have you got any final words to say to fans at home watching?
Thanks everyone for watching us and cheer for us. I love you guys.
Thank you so much, and congratulations again on the win. We're going to head back over to the analyst desk.
We love you too, Sam Young, but not today. You guys live on in the tournament, in the CIS minor, and will continue to play against Hellraisers in the grand final. Of course, now we know that it will be those teams going through to the major in September, Hellraisers and Spirit. Big congratulations to them both. Thank you to Freya for that interview. However, let's remember that yesterday Team Spirit lost to Prosto in a best of 3. And it was scrappy, but it did look, in terms of score, much more dominant for... Sorry, it looked like a dominant performance for Prosto. Nonetheless, it was scrappy. Today, though, there were differences, and there were some specific things that Team Spirit were doing that made this outing extremely better in their favor.
Yeah, one start is obviously the veto. That it completely game changer in that sense. I said it in the pregame as well. This is the veto I wanted to see out of Spirit yesterday when they went up against Pro100, and you can tell what kind of difference it makes. Getting onto Dust 2, it's an absolute slaughter from start to finish, pretty much. And they do so, you know, not necessarily by specifically targeting what Pro100 have done, but it's doing their due diligence. Like, they're throwing Molotovs. They know that they're going up a team that likes playing double ops. How do you actually counteract that? Well, you use your utility properly. So you can see when they wanted to go up towards Catwalk, for instance, just even if it's slow, fast, doesn't really matter. As long as they want to get control over an area, they use Molotovs, they use flashes, etc., to clear people out of I guess your ordinary spots for those oppers, and it pays off massively for them.
I've just used my watermelon joystick, the old RIP Ronald there, to get our our scoreboard up on screen from that second map, Nuke. And yeah, it was SDY, Sam Young, and Davkos leading the charge, but spread across the team, good performances from all. I mean, if they're at kill stacks at the top, it's absolutely reasonable that Dima ends up with 10. On the other side, Kenzel and Sviat were struggling at the bottom. Prosto just not being able to perform there on Nuke. And considering that they have played it at this tournament, was it one of the maps that they played yesterday against Team Spirit?
Against Spirit, we had Train,
Train was the first
and then Cash.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, but considering that when you're picking Nuke, right, you have to be prepared that you might not end up starting on that CT side.
Yeah.
And so what was the issue for Prosto, and why were they not able to get rolling on the T side where they had to begin that arduous journey ending in a loss?
I mean, there's plenty of reasons why, and again, it comes down to fundamentals, but also being able to understand how your opponents are actually, you know, approaching that CT side. I mean, this is something that you can talk more to really as to, you know, pretty much just how well Spirit figured out what was going on the T side for,
absolutely.
for Prosto.
That Nuke looked like a field trip for Spirit, but I think there were maybe 2 or 3 very important moments. First of all, we saw Prosto actually getting away with the 3rd round bye after the bomb plan, which is something that teams would actually do. But because Spirit played that one round with MP9s and they didn't really buy any other weapons, what happened was that the round after that they could buy an AWP, they could have M4, they could have utilities. So they won that round, put them to 3-1 and completely reset the economy of Prosto. So, you know, going into Nuke, when you start T, one of the only things that can really save you is to have an economical edge on the enemy. If you know the CT have AWPs and utilities, you might really have a good time. And then overall, it just felt like Spirit were ready for what Prosto had to throw at them. Interestingly enough, we saw Davkos playing a lot towards the CT base, and it kind of really shut down every yard or outside play that Prosto would put at them. Props to him, that was actually impressive from him. But yeah, it just felt like they were ready.
It was early in the tournament that we realised Nuke was a map that Prosto liked to play, and especially considering that they lost it originally to Plink, and then they picked it, well, they let it go. I can't remember exactly how the veto went, but it was, again, in that best of 3 in the rematch versus Plink. And so, presumably, this is a map that they do feel strong on. And if you're not prepared for that T side, you're missing half of the package, right?
Yeah, no, you definitely do. And what's kind of surprising is the fact that they had gone into Cash yesterday versus Team Spirit. Obviously, a kind of a, I guess, different beast today than what they were yesterday. But you'd already found success. It's not like Team Spirit challenged you in a lot of ways when you got to that map. I think they had multiple avenues that they could have gone instead of Nuke, because Nuke is very volatile in that sense. If you get off to a bad start, like Maniac mentioned, with the fact that you get reset so early on the T side, where you're supposed to grab those couple of free rounds pretty much to set yourself up for the rest of the half, you're not really left with too many options. I also think it's just them faltering under pressure when you talked about how they had tendencies to actually move heavily under towards Heaven to try to pressure Davkos, but they didn't really do it in a proper fashion. They'd already used a lot of the utility to set up for the basic smoke walls and so on and stuff like that, but they didn't necessarily have the smokes, molotovs, or flashes to follow up on that to actually get rid of Davkos before he's actually either gotten backup from Softic or actually just removed 2 to 3 players. And at that point, you're not giving yourself a whole lot of options. And if your entire playbook revolves around going out in yard and either going under Heaven or down into Secret, it's going to be very easy to adapt to if you're a team like Spirit. I think we needed to see much more pressure being put on and just default slow rounds towards ramp, keeping people honest, not allowing them to do like early rotations like we saw Dima. Maniac was mentioning it, you know, when we were watching the game in the green room, the fact that every time we saw the secret plays coming in from Prosto, really, we just had Dima already set on the lower bomb site way before anyone from Prosto was actually, you know, set to go down and actually try to get a bomb plant. And that obviously can't happen if there's constantly been pressure being put on ramp earlier, because Dima kind of has to be kept honest and look out for that potential backstab, something like that. But that never came to be, and I think that's partly inexperience, and that's you know, the moment kind of getting to you if you're Prosto, where you kind of forget about some of the fundamentals that needs to be there.
Matthew, can you expand a bit upon that? Halvor's mentioned about the repositioning of Dima, and that was a factor throughout Nuke for Spirit and how they overcame Prosto's different attempts to take out their CT half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think repositioning and the movements from
their
the
T
CT
half.
From Spirit, I think, was a very good indicative of how confident and comfortable they were in the game. You know, you always have that feeling that when you're good in the game, you react really fast, you have quick thinking, and here is a very good example. So what we see is Prosto actually trying to take yard control. Davkos realizes it's too late, they have the position, so what they do, they actually pushes into T main, but you already see Coldie had the information, he had pushed the lobby, he's already behind them, and what's actually pretty impressive is that he's not gonna even get a kill. So you might think this is good for Prosto, but the thing is, Spirit already have it all under control. They know what's happening. They have repositioned. They are already inside. Davkos, who was originally under the ladder, is already on bomb site. and some Young is here, even the third seed is arrived. This is a very good example of how you play when you're in the zone. You react very quickly, you realize what zone is free that you can take. It's fine, they take you on the ladder, you take the lobby.
It's a really good example as well of a player making the right move there, pushing through lobby, coming around the back onto the roofs, falling off into the outside area, then dying, but at least he's got all that information for his team so that his team can react and set up, as you've said, the appropriate positions to counter.
Yeah, and I think that's key as well, because that's not something that's going to show up on a scoreboard, like Cold ran 50 meters from point A to point B. That's not going to show up or impress anyone in that sense, but the impact it has for the rest of the team, as you said, with the smart repositioning and quick communication between them, makes the round so much easier, even if he doesn't get a frag. Obviously, it's an added bonus if he does, but it's not a necessity at that point. And I also think that, again, highlights kind of some of the faults we saw with Prosto's play, because even if you have that kind of a heavy commitment towards yard, you'll see a lot of the better Nuke teams, they'll have one person around that lobby area, whether he's kind of just hanging out in Squeaky or Radio, or for that matter, like there'll always be that presence where you can't necessarily make those quick rotations for free. So you will feel pressure from multiple angles, and that's something Prosto failed to do.
Let's take a look at where we stand after that matchup. Of course, as I'm sure you guys get the picture at home now, we only have 2 teams left. Those are our 2 qualifiers from the CIS minor to the major in September. Hellraisers and Team Spirit. Hellraisers had the unbeaten run, given they didn't have to have an extra best of 1 at the start because of Namiga not attending. Spirit had to battle through more adversity and have really proved their mettle at this minor, and I am personally very impressed.
Yeah, no, they're all reason to be. Again, you know, they started off as you would have expected, then they hit that massive bump versus Prosto initially in the finals bracket. We saw that break energy completely when they ran into that kind of a wall. Team Spirit on their end just brushed it off, came back way, way, way stronger, probably the best we've seen them all tournament, and continued on fighting through Avangard, and then obviously Prosto in this matchup here. So I'm even hopeful for them, you know, to be able to put a challenge to Hellraisers.
Matthew, quick final thoughts on this matchup or the next one going forward, but not too much because we will have a pre-game segment for that too.
Quickly, I think very much deserved wins for Spirit. Both the individuals showed up, and I think the tactic was on point. They were always one step ahead of Prosto, so a logical qualification from them, and looking forward to the next game against Hellraisers.
Definitely, I am completely in the same camp as you. We have one more best of 3 to go today. It's our 2 qualifiers to the major in September from the CIS region, Hellraisers and Team Spirit. There's still the lion's share of $50,000 on the line, so you can be sure that these guys aren't only playing for pride and the #1 spot from this minor, they're also playing for a chunk of money. Guys, remember to check us out on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Use the hashtag FACEITMinor to get involved in all the conversations and content. We also have the Miners Millionaire giveaway, 2 million FACEIT points on the line. And to get involved in that, all you need to do is head on over to faceitmajor.com/giveaway. That was one last arm wave for you, Halvor and Matthew. Do not go anywhere, everybody at home. We have our final match in the CIS minor to come.